just got done with a little collaboration. We're gonna do a little sit down real quick. Tell me about Hodges Media.
Man,
what is it?
Hodges Media is just essentially I'm just a videographer.
Yeah.
I go to weddings. I do commercials, mini commercials, which is like Facebook ads, 35-second, videos and stuff like that. I've always had like a little passion. I've always wanted to be like a YouTuber and all that stuff. But just it takes that one. Most YouTubers are like from a social media app and blew up and then went to YouTube, and so it's really hard to really grasp that take. So I was like, you know what, I still want to edit videos and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so my aunt or my cousin, she calls me. She says, hey, you want to video my wedding? And so at first I was like, yeah. I was like, us growing up, since we were kids, filming a wedding, it was just like VCH tapes and like all that, real simple, just like not edited stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. This is where I can actually like, put this out and see where it goes. Well, I do that for one video, and then boom, I start just, like in a matter of a week, I got 4 weddings that I had to do, and they were all paying good money. And so I was like, this is actually like something I could actually invest time and money into.
Yeah, and that's cool how you kind of like went a different route, like not flooded and just tried to be like a YouTuber.
Right.
And of course, that's like, this could be a hobby and you could blow up from that, but you see that little side angle where you can make it a side, but also make some real money out of it.
Heck yeah.
What inspired you?
Honestly,
influencers and guys.
Yeah. It was just like, me sitting there looking at that, and I was like, how cool it would be to actually do that. And surprisingly, I found that I had a little bit of talent in editing and stuff, and I could find the flaws in like the camera lighting and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let's just bring it all together and start doing this. And here comes Hodges Media. And then one night I was at my ex-girlfriend's house at like 3 a.m. Awake, couldn't go to sleep, and I'm on the computer, and I'm like, you know what, I need a logo. And we had talked about making a logo, and I just created this logo that it was just in a matter of like 30 minutes, and I sat there and I was like, this is unique. And after that I was like, you know what, this is a full-blown thing.
Yeah, like full send it.
I was like, let's
kind of deal. We're doing this.
Yeah, it's like it's just pedal to metal, so.
Talk about inspiring. You got to meet Danny Duncan, didn't you, in Lubbock?
Yes.
For people who don't know who Danny Duncan is, he's a pretty big YouTuber. I don't really watch him that much, but I know who he is. I think everybody in space knows who he is.
Oh, yeah.
But he came to Lubbock, and you had a little interesting experience, didn't you?
So I actually got to meet Danny Duncan face to face, personally. Got to hang out with him for a little bit longer than everybody else did.
How did that happen?
So, he posted that he was doing this video series of him hitchhiking across from Florida all the way back to California, because he just bought a house in California. So he's hitchhiking. He's not taking his own vehicle.
Stole my idea.
And so he's hitchhiking the whole time. Well, he ends up, I have him on Snapchat, I have him on all the social media sites, and I look at Instagram, and he's videotaping in the back of I'm pretty sure it was like a maroon Ford.
Yeah. And
it said he was in Sweetwater, Texas. And I was like, dude, he's got to be coming toward Lubbock. What's after Sweetwater? Snyder, and then Lubbock. And so I was like, exactly. He's got to be coming to Lubbock. Well, sure enough, he was like, hey, we're going to have a meet and greet in Lubbock. And this is also whenever the pandemic was, really big, and they didn't want big group gatherings. Well, I thought, Lubbock, Texas, and a lot of people didn't know Danny Duncan.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be like the select maybe 100.
Mm-hmm.
I pull up, and there's already like 300 kids there. And I'm like, dude, I was like, there's no way I'm going to actually get to like shake this dude's hand or nothing. So he ends up coming. It takes him a little bit longer, and he ends up coming. Like 400 kids just surround the vehicle. He gets out, and it's just yelling. And I'm like, there's a big old crowd, and I'm just in the middle of it. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, Danny Duncan. I got a video of it, and it's pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah, Danny. And everybody's like, yeah. And I was like, cool, that's it. That's done. I'm walking back to my truck.
You got what you wanted.
Yeah. So I'm walking back to my truck, and then I just hear a bunch of feet rumbling. Well, I turned around, and Danny's standing right beside me, dude. Me and him are like touching hips, dude, because it's so crowded. And he's sitting there like, holy shit, I'm trying to get on the truck and trying to like chill over, like not be in the crowd. And he's like, I need a bodyguard. And he looks at me and he's like, hey, get me to truck and I'll pay you $100. And I was like, say less. I was like, Danny Duncan needs my help. I said, let's go. So me and Danny Duncan dude, it was crazy. I helped him up on a truck. Two of them actually. There was one, and then we went over to the other one, and it was just, I mean, there was a kid who was trying to get like his crusty ass sock. He was like, dude, have Danny sign my sock. And Danny looks at the sock. I remember this like it was yesterday. Danny looks at the sock, and he looks back at me, and he says, what the hell is this? And I said, that's Lubbock, Texas for you, bro.
Golly.
Yeah, that was an experience. That was definitely a good experience. It was fun. It was definitely fun.
Man, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
Danny fucking Duncan, dude. Oh.
And he's never been back to Lubbock, huh?
Mm-mm. I told him, so...
You're probably like, oh, this media wedding. Here you go, next time you get married.
Right.
I know you're about time, Danny. I know the merch you sell.
So Danny, if you look at his Instagram, he doesn't follow anybody, and so I couldn't get in contact with Danny. I had to go through his videographer, which is like he's got the red camera. I think his camera total was like $47,000. Like his camera's legit, but of course it's Danny Duncan. This is what he does
exactly
every day, and so that's who I had to get in contact to. And I had to message him on Instagram to get my Venmo and stuff and all that, and so it was pretty cool. I mean, that was pretty crazy. And then I told him, I said, before the cops came and told everybody to leave, Danny, I looked at Danny. I said, you know what? I was like, look at this, dude. And he goes, yeah. He said, holy crap, there's a lot of people that know me here. I was like, yeah. I was like, because he always does the show. He has a show called the Virginity Rock Tour, and he tries to do it every year. Of course, the pandemic has ruined everything. But I told him, I said, you need to have a show up here, and I was like,
because some people that come here.
I've had I have a buddy that his dad owns like most of the bars up here, and dude, we got perfect places for him. I told him, I said, you come up here, I will be at your assistance. And he said, for sure, I appreciate it. If we come back, that'll be it. And I was like, that was the last thing that I got to talk to his videographer and Danny. It was crazy. It's a cool experience. It was not what I was expecting.
Those are the best experiences when you just depending if they're good or bad. The best experiences is when something out of the blue happens. So what's like the end goal for Hodges Media?
Man, the end goal is just of course to blow up, and
just like everybody else,
right? And it's one of those things where it's like it's really not for the money. Like, of course, videography, the money is great, and you can charge anywhere from my first ever wedding video that I charged $400, and now charging. I have packages that I've learned up, and I've done numbers with people, and I've asked all around. And now those numbers you're looking at $1,200 to $2,000 for a wedding video, and people are paying that because this is serious stuff. This things that they cherish for the rest of their life. Yeah. So, honestly, the end goal is to just blow up and have
wedding or like influencer. Just
the influencer part, yes. Like that's of course I would love to do that. Like, but the thing is like I can't do that until I grow my company into more to where I have different locations, have a shop here in Lubbock, have a office in Dallas, and just blow up to where people are going to meet with my workers and all that stuff, and I'm sitting here maybe just kind of doing final touch-ups on videos, and then that's whenever I can take the time and focus on the influential part. Like
people think it's easy. It's not easy.
It's not. No.
I want to say it's one of the hardest things to do out there. Even everybody getting into it, it's flooded, all that. But just the fact to make quality content and then just deal with people on that, like haters and stuff, it's hard.
Oh yeah,
it's hard. It's flooded, but
big time.
So you broke your neck one time, right? We're going to talk about that.
We're talking about. So
just going to flip the script right off the bat. Talk about something totally different.
Get a little bit into it, yeah. So. My injury, high school year. So my senior year in high school.
Senior year.
Playing football, we're playing against a team, and we're of course talking mess,
High school heroes.
High school heroes
session right here.
we're talking mess, and man, I just looked at that dude, and we said a few words that are not supposed to be. You know what they say. You know what says on the field stays on the field.
Yeah.
That was one of those things. You know, he said something to me, I said something to him. Well, we got mad at each other, and man, he just knocked me the hell out, straight up. We went head to head, and I just don't remember shit, man. I remember waking up a little bit on the field, and then it was kind of scary because. So I didn't 100% like break my neck. It was like a pinched nerve.
Oh, it was a really bad one. You had to get it.
And for a while, man, I can't remember how much time it was, but I couldn't feel the right side of my body, like straight up, like my arm and my leg. I remember my mom coming down on the field because, I mean, they were getting the ambulance there, and everybody was surrounding me. And they had my parents.
Oh, sorry. Were you out like cold? Or?
I was out cold. Yeah, My trainer told me the next couple days, you know, I was just trying to, kind of recuperate and stuff. He told me that I was snoring, like straight up snoring, dude. Like I was out, like I remember watching the film and I'm laying face mask on the field, and I'm just limp. You can just tell that I'm knocked out. And then I see my trainer tapping on me, and I was just like, dude, I must have been like cold. And he said I was snoring, and I was he flipped me over. And they ended up taking my helmet off real quick. They actually had to unscrew everything because they didn't know if I was like, really messed up.
Yeah.
And they went through protocols and all that stuff. But yeah, I couldn't feel the right side of my body. And we got back to the hospital, and about that time they stuck me with a bunch of medicine and stuff. And eventually I got feeling back, and man, it was I didn't play for the next 3 weeks, but it's a scary story because.
I bet.
They told me to go get an MRI on my back. Well, I go, and they tell me that I had 3 tumors in my back. Yeah. What? And so this is where it's like settling in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is not even part of football. Like this is something serious. And so they're like in the corner. My doctor's talking to my parents, and like they're bawling. And so I'm scared. You know, I'm not crying yet or anything. And he sits down and he says, Nick, you're going to meet with what was it? It was a neurologist, I think, or something, to get scheduled for surgery, like right away.
You have 30 minutes to live. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's what I was thinking.
In your head.
Me being 18 years old, I'm like, oh my gosh, like
this is it.
What the hell? Like, I'm gonna be a, I might end up being a vegetable.
Yeah.
And well. I go to see the specialist the next day, and they're looking at my MRI, and they're like, now what did they send you here for? And I was like, they said I had some tumors in my back. And they said, no, these are just air bubbles on the reading of the MRI. Like this has nothing to do with it. They said, go take another MRI. So I went to go take another MRI about 2 hours later, and then the next day they came back with results, and there was nothing there. And they said you passed your concussion test, you can play football. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Golly, that's a medical field for you. Screw the medical field.
I was like, what?
Some of the biggest idiots. Never mind. Anyways. Yeah, I remember seeing that scar, and I was like, dang, you get attacked by a bear.
That scar is pretty rough.
It's like you got a big old caterpillar crawling on your neck.
It's pretty
Yeah,
rough.
that's wild. So what do you want to talk about, Nick? You want to talk about politics? No, I'm just playing. We're not talking about politics. Yeah, no. Well, thanks for sitting down.
It was awesome.
It was good collabing with you too. Check him out at Hodges Media. His name's Nick Hodges. That's really all you need to know. Just go search him.
Yeah, for sure. Nick Hodges.
Mugshots, everything. I'm just kidding.
Mugshots, everything.